Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be part 2 of my guide to the Pumps and Hoses DLC. We're going to cover everything we did not cover in the first video, which is mostly going to be the placeables and the BGA. Personally, the BGA is probably my favorite part of the new DLC, so it's pretty cool in terms of how it works and everything like that. And again, we're going to cover all that today. If you have not pre-ordered or ordered the DLC, down below in the description, there is a link. If you use that link, that will go to help support the channel. Or if you use code FarmerCop at checkout to purchase any DLCs from Giants, that does go to help support the channel at no additional cost to you and helps us move towards gold partner status. So please do that if you can. It definitely does help out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into how the buildings work and what buildings are in this pack. So if we go into build mode, Shift P to jump into it if you're on PC. If we go to production, if we scroll over here, we start seeing pumps and hoses pack at the bottom. So we got a lot of different stuff in here. I'm going to kind of go over it in a specific order in terms of how you want to build your BGA. So first things first, you're going to need to place a fermenter. So this is how you're going to start it, is placing one of these fermenters here. Again, they have different, for how much different capacities in terms of everything goes. They're all going to intake manure, slurry, silage, and cut sugar beets. So again, they're just different capacities. They are very expensive, but we're just going to build a small BGA to start out. Oh, I have the, let's get that out of there. All right, there we go. Now it should let me build it. Production, we're going to go into here, and then we're going to grab just, again, the small one. We're going to place it out here, and all of these do the same thing, so you don't have to worry about that. We're going to place it just kind of right there. So info, biogas plant, root buildings created. So you see this kind of little information that pops above it. This is because all these chain together to make it one production chain. Now we had a different mod come out. I believe it's the Planet BGA, which is a modular BGA system. This works much different than that in terms of all of these are going to be under the same production format and menu versus the BGA, Planet BGA. Those are all separate. So this is pretty cool how this works. So now that we've created a base unit, now everything we place within this, I think it's 150 meters range of this building BGA 1. That will be its own BGA. Now, if I wanted to start a new BGA over here, let's say we have to go pretty far away. If we wanted to put it over here, root building has been created. So BGA 2 over here. We're going to demolish that because we just want one BGA. Now let's go back over here to where we were at before. So again, we have a BGA root building. Now I can place, if I wanted to, two of these. This is now part of BGA 1. You can see BGA 1. There's a little line between them. They're both part of BGA 1, but we're just going to run one for now. So we'll get rid of that. So now that we have that placed down, the next thing we're going to want is a way to put stuff into it. So if you're putting slurry into it, you can put it in right here at this dump point, so you don't have to worry about using one of these if you're only going to put slurry into it. But if we're going to put anything else such as manure, silage, or cut sugar beet, we're going to want to put one of these guys in right here. So we have 5 different options, which is great. So this one will intake 30,000 liters at a time and then move it into the BGA. This one's 60,000. 60,000, 150,000, and then this one is 115,000. So I'm actually going to place 2 down because this won't matter a lot. You can see they hook up like that. This won't work. See, it's too far away. That'll work there. So I'm going to place this one right here. And then I'm also going to place this one down because this one's kind of unique and I want to show that off. So if I get this one close enough, and again, you can place it a little further away. I want to keep that slurry point open there. So if I place it, collides with our object. There we go. Right there will work for us. So if we hop out, what's cool about this, open the help menu, come up here, open gate, you can back in and dump the materials into this right here, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty awesome there. And this one, you just have to dump them into the top. And then this over here is where you're going to put your slurry in. And this is, again, if you hit R, this is going to open up your BGA menu, which you can see. We'll go over all that stuff here in just a little bit. So now that we have that done, if we go back into our production here, we need to get some more stuff placed out. So we also need a slurry storage is what we're going to need. So now we're actually going to jump over to buildings, silos, and if we go down here, there's a lot of different slurry silos that are part of this. Now there's basically only 6 options. There's just ones with roof and without. So you have this one right here, which holds 606,000 with a roof. This one is 606,000 without a roof. So I'm just going to place this small one. We'll just place it off to the side over here. So there we go. You can see it's all connected, liquid manure tank. And then again, we have these guys right up here. So again, we have this one, 606,000, 1.6 million, 3.6 million, and then without roofs. And then we have these ones, 952, 2.1 million, and 3.6 million there. And then without roofs, we have all those same ones. So that's basically the difference between all of those different units there. Now let's go back to production. We need a few other pieces of equipment here. Now, one thing that is optional is a separator. I did mention that there's also a portable one of these that would work as well, theoretically speaking, which is located under everything that we have going on. So we're going to take a look at these guys right here. So We're just going to place one of these out, and I'll talk about what it's going to do. And actually, we'll use this guy right here, kind of a medium-sized one. This one's not going to hook into this BGA network, but we want it to be close as possible to our liquid manure storage right here. So we're going to put it just right there. Will work fine. It can be over here off to the side. That's fine as well. Actually, we might just put it over there, and then I'm going to get rid of this guy right here. And I'll explain what that does in a little bit here. So again, this is going to ferment. This is going to be your inputs. No, I don't want to sell it. These are your inputs for your fermenter. And then this is where your digestate is going to go after it's been fermented. Now, where's the methane going to go? Because you're producing digestated methane. Well, you need one of these guys right here, which are the aginators. So they're very expensive, but they're taking that methane and they're going to produce electricity and then immediately sell it. So you can't get electricity out of it. They just produce it and sell it for you immediately. So we're going to need one of these guys. So we're going to use a small one just because I think that should be plenty good for us. We'll just put it off to the side over here. And again, it's aginator. It's linked in there. So we got that step done. The last thing we may want to put in is a gas torch, which this is actually, technically speaking, optional. You need it for everything to keep running if you have an aginator that can't keep up. So we are going to place one. It has a gas torch there, you can see. So now we have basically a BGA network here. We have everything in that we would need. Again, the gas torch is kind of optional, and I'll explain that. And the what are these guys called again? I can't even remember now. The separators, these are optional as well. They have different capacities, you can see there, but they are optional. So there we go. So what's going to happen is we're going to put stuff into here. It's going to get transferred into the fermenter, and then it's going to make methane, which is going to go over to this guy, which will produce electricity and make money. And then the digestate that's produced is going to get stored into here. Now, as the digestate transfers into here, it's first going to go through this as long as we come up to this, and we have to turn this on. So the storage is empty, but that's fine. But yeah, we have to turn it on right here, which is not turning on because this is empty right here. But what this is going to do, and what the other one does, which is in the pack in the store here, if we go over here, it's this guy right here, which you have to move around using a pallet fork. It can't hook up to anything, so you just move this guy around with a pallet fork. And then you can get into it and expand it. The legs will get up there, and it basically just dumps the stuff you produce on the ground. What it does is it produces a new fill type, which is new to Farming Simulator 22 with this DLC, which I believe it should be in here if we go in here. There it is, separated manure, which you can sell. You can sell it off just as you can here. You can sell that manure off, or other options you have for what you can do with it is you can go in here, go to manure spreaders. You can spread it on your field. You can see a new fill type down here as a fertilizer state. So that is an option for you. And the last option is if we go to our animal pens right here, such as, well, let's go to cows. Yeah, here we are. It doesn't show it up on here, but when you have this placed down, you can use it as, instead of straw for bedding, you can use it for bedding. So you have a couple different options for what you can use for it. And again, it's completely optional. Basically, it just filters all these solid chunks in the slurry or liquid manure and does that. Now, if you had the little portable one, that is in the store. If I can actually go to the right menu here. If you had this guy right here, you could put slurry through it and do it that way if you wanted to do that. So you could do that prior to putting it on your field or whatever the case may be. So there you go. Pretty nifty how this all works out. Now, in terms of getting this whole this facility to function and stuff like that, let's talk about that here. So if we go into our production menu, we can see we need to activate these guys here. So we'll activate them. They don't have any materials right now, which is fine. The power plant, well, we'll talk about this first here. So right now, all of this too. So if I added like 20 fermenters, it'll add the recipe up in here and make it work the way it needs to. So yeah, that's how it's going to work in terms of that. Now there's a few different options in here. Again, these are inputs just like normal. And then we have what it's doing right now. So right now, again, it says it's only doing silage. If we put in any of these other materials, then it will show that up in here as part of the production. Right now, it's looking for silage right there, which I actually can buy. So if I went ahead and just bought that, there we go. It's going to start working right now and doing that. So there we go. Now, as it's running, perfect. It's going to show you kind of the utilization down here, which we'll talk about that and why we want those things to run the way they need to go. But yeah, again, your inputs, then your outputs. And right now it says distribute to across biogas plants. That means it's going to put it into that storage. If I have it storing, it's going to keep it in there, which we don't want. Selling, it's going to sell it off automatically. And then distributing, it's going to move it up further along in production. But I want it to distribute across biogas plant. Same with the methane. I want that to be sitting there. I don't even know what the other ones would be for that. I guess the same ones, but we want it to distribute over to the power plant. And then it's going to input methane, and then it's going to make us money. So you can see that's how much electricity we're making. Now down here, let's talk about this. So fermenter, 25%. That's only because it's only working on silage. Now if I put, let's say, buy this, max that out, boom, it's gonna bump up to 50% because it's working, except for these guys down here. So again, it's just doing better work here. And if I wanted to go ahead and buy this, perfect, and then buy this just to put stuff in there. There we go. Now everything's working 100%. It's running perfect is what it's going to say. It runs just fine. It's just, it's only using 25% of its capacity because it's only doing one of the materials. So it's up to you if you have them all in there or not. Now bunkers running bad. That's because, well, we're not putting anything in the bunker, so they're not running at all. So that's why it says running bad. You can see the methane torch is pretty cool back there. Now the cogeneration plant, it's running at its limit 100%. That's not good. This thing is going to be running past what it can do here, which is not good. And actually, let's go turn this guy off over here, or turn this guy on. There we go. You can see you get to turn it on every time you activate it and get it running, and it's slowly producing separated manure into here. Now, if we go back into that menu, again, this is at its limit. So this thing is running at 56%. So the reason the torch is optional is because if this thing, your cogeneration plant, can't keep up with the methane, it just burns it off and basically wastes it. So we're just kind of wasting stuff. That's why it's not good that that's running. We don't want it to run. So what we can do to fix that, if we go into production, is we can place, well, let's place a really big one of these guys down. We don't already have one of those. Let's place this guy right here. That is now, it's now part of it. And now if we go back into production, it's running okay because there's not enough methane now for it, but it's doing great. Now let's say we just wanted to upgrade it. We could get rid of this. We could sell that, and then just have that. And if we go back in here, it's not running right now. But again, the capacity used is great. It's going to go ahead and sell electricity off. The fermenter is running great. Everything's running the way it should be running. Oh, we need to activate that. There we go. It's running okay. There we go. Sorry, I had to activate the new one, of course. But there you go. Everything's working the way it should. The gas torch isn't burning off any excess, so everything is doing what it should be doing. And if we go ahead and just speed up time here, you can see our money will hopefully start going up at some point. I don't have my mod that allows me to speed up time. And then we can see that some of the stuff is starting to show up into here, which is great. 292. Should keep going up from there. Probably just go up every hour, so we'll get over the hour here in a second. If I come back to it, oh, it's still 292. Is it not running? It might have actually finished out. Yeah, we had to turn that on. There we go. That's because I went into the menu. I apologize. So every time you go into the menu, take a look at the production, make sure you come out here and activate this. So now it's really cooking along, producing a lot here because everything's going fast. It's like it should be producing more than that, but there we go. So you're getting it, and again, it's going to eventually, it'll hit its capacity. And it stopped probably because, are they out of materials? No, they're still running. Strange. Every so often you have to turn it back on because this probably has stuff that it hasn't done yet. And it's slowly actually taking the digest state away from it right now. So it's going to slowly run that through. But there you go. So if we actually slow time back down. And now my understanding of it, which I think was incorrect actually now that I'm looking at it, because if we look at our digest state storage, there's nothing, or there is stuff in there now because it's slowly filling up. But every time we turn this on, it's taking that. And it's taking it out of there and putting it into here, which it's really slow right now, but we speed up time, that's gonna be a little bit quicker. There we go, and it's taking the digestate out of here. So every time you want that, you can see that's going down. You can do that. Now it just gets running constantly, but we're gonna turn it off. And then this is actually now gonna start filling up again. But there you go. You can see kind of how the concept of this is working out the way it should. You're gonna make money doing that and everything like that. But this is a really cool feature, I think, added to the game. And I'm hoping other modders might be able to access how the system works and be able to kind of do some more stuff with it. But again, you can see the recipe changed as we added more inputs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's producing what it needs to be doing. It's doing everything it needs to do. And it should be doing it very well. Again, I can access stuff in there. So there you go. But again, so it's kind of, you choose if you want digestate or if you want to get this solid stuff out. That's why this is kind of an option for you. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. You can use it for bedding or other stuff. But if you wanted the digestate, then you can just get rid of that. And you got digestate. It's going to keep filling up in there. Or you can have this here and turn it on if you want it. Or turn it off if you don't want it. But there you go. That is essentially everything you need to know about the BGA system in the new Pumps and Hoses DLC, and that should conclude everything in terms of how this DLC works. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. If you guys enjoyed, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and for watching.